Hi, my name is Ashton Pullis. I'm a junior, and my film is Rose Tinted Glasses.
Hello, my name is Fozzie Fazunmaye. I'm writer and director of The Storybender.
I'm Griffin Peters. I'm the writer, director, editor of Broken Pencil Lead.
My name is Chance Severson. I'm a senior here, and my film was Morale.
My creative process started in December when I really started, getting to work on the script. And the first thing that I wrote was the opening scene, the breakup scene. And I specifically wanted to do that not just because it was the opening scene, but because it sets the tone for the rest of the film going forward.
My creative process was very challenging. I've written so many drafts of so many different scripts. There was one about a jail cell. There was another completely mocking anime, which actually was a bit in my current film. I ultimately came to the decision of going the cliche route and writing self-awareness in the form of a script writing, like back and forth table, and how two friends are trying to find a story, but they can't.
Our mom is trying to do that right now. No! It's just a lame excuse to make a short film. If that's the best idea you've got, then don't even make a short film at all. Basically telling the audience that you can't think of anything good, so you resort to the most run-of-the-mill, mindless, stupid, uninspired piece of garbage. The worst part is that they're self-aware. I hate it.
Wait, don't go!
What? What now? You need help because you can't write a script? All you can do is throw more Batman into things? Is that what you need help with, Bella? I'm leaving.
George, you're crazy.
Am I? That's your big twist now, is that I'm crazy? Ooh, I'm leaving.
No!
What?
Yeah, so it sort of just started with this intense feeling of anxiety and just stress that I had while going into like my Spanish tests, like last year. And it was a very like overwhelming feeling. And it was something I struggle with, and I've sort of had for a long time is like I have a 504, and so in like elementary school I had an IEP, and so which I got out of, but like in those sort of environments I would be given the option to go into another room to take a test, and that feeling was very isolating, and I didn't like it. Now it works for some people, and that's fine, but I wanted to just share my experience, especially taking tests, and sort of how much you can sort of put pressure on yourself in that moment.
Hi. Considering your needs, maybe it's best you take this exam in a quieter place. I can give you a hall pass.
No! No, just, I can take the test in here. Thank you, though.
So the initial idea for the film came from listening to the album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I thought that the instrumentals of the album specifically would be really interesting used in a film setting as like a score. And so the initial idea I had was similar to like adapting a book for film, adapting the concept of an album to film and using the actual music from it or music inspired by it to score it. From that point, I came up with an initial idea, and then I approached a friend of mine, Ryan Tepper, who co-wrote and directed it with me. And then from that point, we just hammered away at it for a few weeks.
In other news, Anne Heche in a terrible accident, not sure yet. She may have been under the influence. She slammed her car.
I think the biggest obstacle that I faced was getting everyone together. For all the shoot days that we did, we had everyone, but because I was acting in other films and my friends were making other films. It was hard to schedule and get everyone together for one day and be able to shoot for a long period of time. So that was definitely difficult. I'd say another obstacle that we faced was locations. Originally, in the script, I envisioned different locations from what's seen in the film for most scenes, but after realizing that I really didn't have a ton of time to finish, I realized that I could shoot basically everything at my friend's house, Sophie Wimmer, her house. So half of the film, half of what you see, it's all her house that we used.
Definitely casting. I had a lot of characters in my short film, and I had to find the right people. I also had to get all of their schedules. There was times where people were only available for about 2 hours a day, and the scene was like would take more than 2 hours to shoot, in all fairness. So we'd have to split it up in different days. I feel like that was probably the biggest obstacle I had to face.
Battle of Doodle McFungus.
I understand how one might fall in love with such a beautiful, independent woman. But the girl is mine, and I am willing to fight for love.
The fight is set. They stand their ground. Who will make the first move?
Ow! That hurt, man. Why'd you do that? I'm sorry. I didn't know I could pinch that hard.
Senpai! Senpai, are you okay?
I'm okay.
Your face says otherwise.
I'm aware.
Actually, Senpai, I love you too.
This beautiful moment is long awaited. The two would finally come together for a tender kiss. He brushes her hair back, and they come in for the kiss of their lifetimes.
Wait, before you die, I have to tell you something.
What is it?
Yeah, I this is a big learning experience because one major takeaway and one thing I'm keeping in mind for next year is filming at school sucks. It is the worst. Don't do it. It is, at least, if you're going to do it, it better be quick, or it better be very short scenes, and your actors better be available, because that was one of my biggest problems, is that a huge portion of this film is, in a location that is very difficult to have control over. And so, yeah, I think also a few other takeaways were how to light scenes, and doing the sort of very blacked out scene. There's a scene in my film where it's like this. I've described it as a void because it's just a completely black background. I have a better idea of how to do complicated setups or like that. So, it was a lot. I also learned a lot more about sound editing. I was learning along the way, but it was fun. Yeah.
So it definitely was a lot to shoot. I had quite a few friends helping me out. Getting people on time to locations, having everything planned out. Thankfully, I did a lot of pre-production work, but making sure that everything sort of lined up, scheduling-wise. We had to do a few extra shoots because they were taking longer than expected. And also, we had to condense the edit down by we had to chop off about 3 or 4 minutes because it came out longer than expected. But overall, it wasn't like a terribly difficult process because I was working with some really cool people, and we did a lot of work in the pre-production end.
Everything in here is between us. Nothing leaves this room.
Didn't expect anyone to get this far.
I would say I'd change a few things. I'd probably add more to the script and have more depth, more story there. You know, more about main character Marshall's, process with a 10-minute time limit for Film Fest. There's only so much that you can pack in with trying to get like a 3-act structure down. So I definitely say adding at least maybe 3 more scenes just to make sure, just to have things flow better, because I think the film could have really benefited from that. Though I'm really proud of the finished product, and I watched it over tons of times just to make sure that it was right, and I really think that I did good, and sure, I'd add some stuff, add some scenes. I think if I really needed to make changes to what the final version was, I'd do technical, things like with audio and sound, that kind of thing, but it's out of my hands. I'm very proud of how it turned out, and I'm just beyond happy with all the support.
Yes, he's really sweet.
That's good.
I want to let you know you were a fantastic boyfriend, Marshall.
That was the intention.
I'm sorry I couldn't be what you deserve.
It's all right. I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and at the end of the day, it's not your fault. I wanted this perfect rom-com relationship, and I started to see things through rose-tinted glasses, so to speak, and that negatively affected the relationship.
You're gonna make another girl very happy someday, and she's gonna give you that love.
Thank you, Rose.
Always. Well, I should go, but I wish you the best. I still care about you.
See you around.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy with the way the film came out. I thought it was great. Everyone who was involved did such a good job, especially the actors who had to say weird things, do weird things, and wear silly costumes just for the sake of entertainment. People behind the camera did such a good job and everything. The only thing I would change is, I don't know, I wouldn't replace anything because I like the scenes that are laid out. I'd probably add scenes, if anything. I had a whole entire scene where there was someone who owns another person money, and it would be a kind of an intense, like, oh, this is such a classic, like, gangster looking thing, but then Batman would come in and they would have this whole rendezvous of fighting, and it would be pretty fun, but I had to cut that out due to the fact that it was a 10-minute time limit, and there would be a lot of choreography involved and it'd be very hard to shoot just in general. But if I were to reshoot anything or all of it, I would definitely throw that scene back in there, because why not?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, of course, there's always gonna be like slight things that you're not happy with. You know, you have this idea in your head, but no one else kind of knows what you're imagining. So they just see it, and if it's passable, then they'll, you know, they won't know. So, I mean, I think overall I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how the film turned out. I think it took a lot of work, and I put a lot of myself into it, and so did all the people that I worked with. I mean, again, worked with amazing people. You know, Ryan Tepper really helped a lot with the writing and the directing vision of it. Ashton Pullis, Max Chi, they did amazing jobs with their performances. And in general, I'd like to add that, you know, I thought everybody did a great job at Film Fest, and it was a really cool event.
Oh, really? Hey, my dog, thank you so much!
You are so hard to talk to. Nothing is going to help if you act like that. You need to let it help you.
What does that even mean, Mary?
You're still here? It's over. Go home.